So round things off with a look at Tomboy.
Yes. Celine Sciamma's Tomboy follows one summer in the life of a 10-year-old child, Zoe Iran, who has just moved to a new home, along with dad, mum, little sister, and soon-to-arrive baby brother. Venturing out to play with the other local children, this newcomer is introduced by just-met neighbour Lisa as Mikhail, the new boy from Building C. Now, this introduction might surprise the family at home because they know Mikhail as Laura, their eldest daughter. As Mikhail, Laura is able to join in the games of football from which Lisa is excluded, and is determined to pass as male amongst her new friends, even going so far as creating an appropriate protuberance in the swimming suit area, from Play-Doh. Eventually, Laura's younger sister Jeanne, Malone Levana, discovers the dual identity, but in sibling solidarity plays along. As the summer progresses, Mikhail and Lisa's friendship progresses to that of childhood romance, may be the best word. But awkward questions arise about the absence of Mikhail's name on the new school class lists, and the problems of the end of the summer begin to loom large. Mikhail's identity as Laura is discovered, to the shock of Lisa and Laura's mother in particular, though I won't reveal how. In perhaps the most crushing scene of the film, Laura's mother says that, "I'm not even sad," as if that would have been an acceptable response to discovering something so important about her child. Tomboy is a beautiful, gentle, warm and tender film, with an excellent performance from Zoe Iran and natural, simple and believable interaction between the children. The situations in it could be read in many ways. Mikhail, Laura's kiss with Lisa may be a sign of attraction to women, or it may be seen simply as a measure of success at playing male. Mikhail could be a transgender boy, or could be a girl just trying something out, or perhaps something else. Perhaps even the characters don't know. It's ambiguous, and therein lies its genius. It's a very, very rewarding watch.
Yes, I did. It turns out, watched this back in 2011 at the Edinburgh Film Festival, and I very much enjoyed it then, looking back at my notes, and I enjoy it just as much now. Agree with what you're saying there. It's something that's not being particularly authoritarian in its interpretation of what's happening in the events that happen. It's just letting them play out in a really wonderful way. Yes, and it's got these lovely naturalistic performances that play out really nicely. As you say, the interaction between the kids is never less than absolutely charming. Such a sweet film in that regard. The way that their actions happen after Michelle or Laura's deception is kind of uncovered is in a way heartbreaking, but another way kind of entirely justified, depending on what kind of ones you're looking at it. It's just all very sensitively told. It doesn't feel like it's exploiting anything. It just feels like a really nice story, and what could be. I have no idea if this is remotely drawn from anyone's life in particular, from either the writers or directors, but it just feels like a nice tale. It doesn't really try to force any agendas onto anything that's happening. It's just showing a interesting kind of moment in the not quite coming of age, but kind of the exploration of that identity and what it means to be female, what it means to be male, and these kind of questions that I'm sure are cycling around everyone's brain when they're a kid. You'd have to be either very sure of yourself or very boring or very unimaginative if you don't, at least at one point in your life, thought, wonder what it would be like if I was the opposite sex or something like that. And that's really just taking that ball and running with it. And it's a really entertaining, charming, sweet, and at many points sad and thought-provoking film. Heartily recommend this one too. If you didn't catch it in 2011, I'm not sure many people did. But yeah, you definitely should make amends and catch up with that now. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's such a lovely film. It's so tender with its subjects.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as I said, there's so many interpretations you could have, and they're all valid.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of art has a lot of interpretation, and really the whole point of art is that any of them could reasonably be valid, but this film isn't prescriptive at all.
Yeah.
And because it could be something simple here as, like, it's called Tomboy, but maybe just Laura just doesn't like the idea that the girls maybe not being allowed to play football because that's the thing that happens here.
Yeah.
Maybe that's enough.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe it's something else. And what I like is that the director said, I made it with several layers so that a transsexual person can say, that was my childhood. And so that the heterosexual woman could also say it.
Yeah.
So there's just, because like the whole human experience is very varied.
Yes.
And this is just a film. It's a sweet film about children, and like it's so innocent in many ways as well. And it's really the only bit where it becomes unpleasant like that is the adult world.
Yeah.
Coming in, and like you can see this horrible looming thing of what happens when school starts coming.
Yeah.
And a 10-year-old's not going to think about that.
Yeah.
It's like that's tomorrow. We'll put it off, and put it off, and hope that somehow it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Whereas our mother clearly feels that she needs to take some action because maybe she's not set up to deal with certainly the school systems and society in general, for the most part, not set up for that.
Yeah, and in particular, it's because, well, she knows that what Michelle or Laura's plan is not going to escape contact with school, right? It's going to get found out then. So you better get ahead of that in some way. It's not coming from any kind of place of, oh my god, I'm so offended that this girl thinks she's a boy. It's more that, well, this is going to come to a head. Better get in front of it rather than just let it happen at school. Which, even in that regard, it's not being done out of a sense of malice or intolerance. It's just, well, better deal with this, I suppose, and that seems the only way to do it.
There's a touch of that in there with that line I mentioned, which is where the mother says, I'm not even sad, which suggests that
that's true. Yeah.
She should be like that. She's sad that a little girl doesn't want to be a girl or isn't acting girlishly or anything. But that's only one line in the whole film. And yes, for the rest of it, it's almost like, yeah, this is going to be really awkward. Children can be very evil. So this could actually make things really bad for let's just get out ahead of this, as you say, Scott. But yeah, it's such a sweet film, and it's really heartwarming as well.
Yes,
it's not a film that's like pushing an agenda of nonsense people talk about. It's just like here's a kid. This is probably representative of many kids over the years, and it's just treated
humanely,
very kindly, humanly. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very humane film. So another one very highly recommended.